Man, cut all that noise out. Stop all that clapping.
Man.
Nobody want to hear all that tonight.
Ain't no reason for clapping around here.
Yeah, cut all the noise out. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are in the building. It is time once again for the one and only, the OG Cowboys OG podcast that is hosted by, you see us all here. We're here. We come and win, lose, or draw. We told you that. One thing you know about us by already, if you want the truth, you come to the right place. If you're looking to be massaged in your agony, you've come to the wrong place. We are here to say what needs to be said. We're not scared. This is what being the OG is all about. You're talking to three guys that have seen world championships hang up in the stadium of Dallas Cowboys. We know what it looked like. And because we know what it's supposed to look like, we look at what we see now and we determine what it is not supposed to look like. And we ain't scared to say it. I got a feeling you're going to hear a lot about this tonight. I'm big time, as most of you know, and I'm surrounded by my brothers, my fraternity brother, member Cap Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, the one and only Cowboy Joe, and the world famous B-Bird is in the building. We are here. Let's go to work, Cowboy Joe. What's up, man?
Oh man, it's great to be on with you guys. So we're gonna just bring it to the people. We're gonna be raw with it. Got to talk about what we saw last night, and then we got to talk about solutions too. So I do have some solutions that I think can get this
Okay.
thing turned around. So we want to talk about some of that at some point.
Yes, sir. B-Bird, what's going
Yeah,
on,
man.
man?
Yeah,
You
man. I'm
all
doing.
right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I was talking to Cowboy Joe earlier, and one of his solutions I kind of agree with. He's thinking about Evil Flus as head coach, so I don't know about that one, man.
Wow. Wow. Beautiful. I like the way
Hey, don't
we swinging home runs
Hey,
already.
and don't rule it out.
don't rule it. Hey, you know what, man? I'm laughing about that, but you never know with the Cowboys
You
and the
just never
Joneses,
know.
man. I'm
You
gonna
Absolutely.
never
stop
know.
playing, giving them ideas, man. But last night, man, I kind of watched the game without a lot of emotion because I think, hey, y'all, I remember because this is an OG podcast. I remember when we lost a playoff game to Detroit a long time ago, before we won the '90 Super Bowl, and these two gentlemen remember. But if it wasn't for the way we lost that game, we wouldn't have got the help that we needed. It showed that we needed cornerback help and cornerback help badly, and so we went to the draft and got that help, and that turned us around. So sometimes, man, a loss can be good if you learn from it and don't just continue to keep on going with the same way and being stubborn and bullheaded about it. So I watched it last night, and just hopefully we can find something that Jones at the front office can learn from it, the loss.
Wow. Uh, let's talk about it, y'all. Everybody knows what happened. I ain't gotta go through no long introduction. The Cowboys got whooped last night, as far as I'm concerned. That's all you need to know. We got beat. We were, in my view, I'll save mine for a little bit later. But I will start the game off whichever way you want to go with the Cowboy, Joe. The dance flow is yours. Go to work, Doc.
So I was watching the game last night. I was talking to my best friend, and I told him and my son, I said, the Cowboys' formula for winning games, and we saw this against Kansas City, Philadelphia, and the Raiders. Offensively, you have to score seven, or you have to kick a field goal. A lot of people don't like kicking field goals, but in our situation, you got to just score. And when you get the ball, you got to score every time. So when you get the ball, you got to get a touchdown or a field goal. You have a pretty good shot at winning. The thing that's going to put you in trouble, guys, is when your defense is not stopping the other team. So the way our team is structured, it's just like shooters in the NBA. Steph Curry, the more shots he get, he's going to have a better chance of winning the game. And Dak is the same way. So it's all about possessions. So the more possessions Dak get, the quicker he gets the ball, better off we're going to be. And you saw him last night. Dak was literally standing on the sideline with his helmet on, looking at watching the game, just basically saying, "I need the ball back." So when our defense plays like they did, we just can't win games because our offense is not getting they're not getting their shots. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So,
that's
so the thing I noticed in the game last night, and I got an opportunity because my son's down from college. Me and him got a chance to watch a game for the first time this year, and I was amazed and impressed by Brian Flores' defense. It's not often that you come up with a plan that limits Dak Prescott because Dak is this cerebral quarterback now. He's at that level, man, to where the game slows down in his mind. But what they did is without a lot of high name, big name athletes on defense, they got a lot of pressure. At one point in time, Dak was pressured 50% of his dropbacks, and their quarterback was only pressured one of his dropbacks. And the way that I was really amazed, man, at the defense because they would bring up 7 guys on the line, and you really didn't know what they were going to do. So you really got no pre-snap read off of what Brian Flores did, and then so you had to do all post-snap reads. But then on post snap reads, you need time, and they wasn't giving them time. So it really was a formula to limit our offense, and everybody knows our defense speaks for itself. But to what Cowboy Joe's been preaching all season about Eberflus, it really was it juxtaposed dramatically against their defense and our defense, the philosophy, and they don't have a lot of talented. Just I'm not going to say talented guys. I'm going to say they don't have Pro Bowlers and all pros over there, but they're getting it done schematically. And if you got a scheme like that and you got good players, boy, you're going to be cooking with gas. But I just saw. I'm not even on our defense yet. I just was impressed by the defense and just imagine what that could be with the Cowboys, because that's the kind of defensive coordinator we need. And I did see that he's out of contract after this season's over with. So I hope we've seen some things. The Jones have seen some things that they can say, hey, we can bring this guy over if he still wants to be a defensive coordinator. The only thing I would say that there'll be kind of a lateral position move, but you are with the Dallas Cowboys, which gives you a lot more notoriety. If you do well, you're probably going to catapult yourself into a head coaching position.
Wow. Well, I had just preached at my church home early that morning, feeling good. People came to Christ, feeling high, feeling good. I celebrated my stepmother's 77th birthday that afternoon, feeling good about that. Then I came home. Then I turned on the TV. And I'm sorry, y'all. And in chat, I'm sorry. But I didn't know that we were playing Joe Montana last night. I'm sorry. Somebody say JJ McCarthy supposed to be out there. I'm sorry. I thought Joe Montana was playing what I was looking at. Why is it that every quarterback, I mean, make no difference, lower end, top, lower tier quarterback or whatever, everybody had their best games against us. This is just not the first time. I mean, it is unbelievable that Minnesota, who has done absolutely nothing this year, all of a sudden looked like a playoff team last night. It's unbelievable how they made JJ McCarthy look like he was a member of the NFC All Pro Bowl team last night. That's what I got out of it. I'm waiting for, we'll get into schematics, I guess, a little bit later, but overall, that's what I was just worried about. JJ has done nothing. Statistically, he is the worst quarterback in the league, starting quarterback in the league. But not last night. He looked like he wanted to go to the Pro Bowl last night. It was totally embarrassing. Offensively, Joe was right. He had his hands on the ball, and I'm not blaming Aubrey at all, because Aubrey's been a solid rock for us. If anything, he showed he was a little human last night. Listen, he's not going to make every 59-yard field goal. We just so spoiled. We so used to it going in that if he missed one, we say, oh, he breaking down. No, he ain't breaking down. He just not Superman. But if he would have hit just those two, we would have had 30 points again on the board. Yeah. But the problem is that even though we scored 30, we give up 31. Yeah. And that is the problem. Even with Pickens not having a big game, this offense still moved the ball. Now I know somebody gonna say we kicked a whole lot of field goals last night. Okay, yeah, we can talk about that. No, we didn't put it in the end zone enough. But it's not like we're being stopped. Even with the way that B-Bird talked about Coach Flores, they still moved the ball, at least got in position. Yeah. I guess you could say a bend but don't break type thing. But the offense still did what they usually do. Put up yards, doing that, we just can't stop nobody. And because of that last night, I'm embarrassed. The Cowboys last night officially put me into draft mode. My personal show will start be going to start going toward the draft, et cetera, and free agency and all that. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I know we got what they say today, a 0.5% chance of making the playoffs. Man, please, I'm not going with that. Philly will have to lose every game for us to make it in. We're not getting in the wild card spot. The only way we get in, let's win the division. I just don't see that happening at all. So I'm saying that the season is over, and it is what it is. So that's my takeaways from last night. I'm embarrassed. That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah,
So
and go ahead, B Bird.
let me just say this real quick, and I'll let you go. I saw a stat today that said that it's 7 teams this year out of their top that we played against, out of their top two scoring games, 7 of them have occurred against the Cowboys. So we give up like they've had their best games against us. McCarthy last night threw for 250 yards. Prior to that, he's only thrown for like 160. That was his high. So what you're saying is right, man. That we turn regular guys into Joe Montana. You go ahead on Joe. I just want to add that part in.
Well, yeah, and we did the same thing with Jacoby Brissett. He hasn't won a game since they played us. They haven't won a game since us. But what I was going to say real quick on Brian Flores, we'll get into this hopefully. He's free. And so they used to say there are 2 things that are certain: death and taxes. One thing that I'm absolutely sure about, and Brian Flores sued the NFL. Jerry Jones would not hire Brian Flores to run a hot dog stand.
Thank you.
He would not. He should, but he wouldn't.
No.
He's not going to do it. He's not a right kind of guy. But what I was going to say, guys, about the offense, I thought we ran the ball well. Pickens didn't have a great game, but again, we're just talking about the offense. The offense could have done what they needed to do. They were moving the ball, and then, as I mentioned earlier, just score touchdowns or kick field goals. If 2 field goals, or if they're good, we got a shot to win the game. But he missed them. So offensively, we want to talk about where the arrows are going with both sides of the ball. Offensively, I can talk about players with Clayton Adams, Connor Riley, Shoddy. Even though we haven't won the games, the arrow for the offense is pointing up. You got Booker, BB, Tyler Smith, arrows pointing up. Our receivers, arrows pointing up. I think we need another tight end with Ferg. We're okay there. The tackles, we beat the Eagles and the Chiefs with our tackles that we have. So offensive side of the ball, with those coaches, arrows pointing up. And that's kind of where we are with the offense. And that's the way it's been pretty much in every game. But if you don't give them possessions, we're just not going to win games. And that's what happened pretty much all year.
So with the offense, I definitely agree with you. They're pointing up. That's the strength of our team. But that's the strength of our team because that's where our talent is. I have to say again, Bell is an undrafted free agent. Bland is a 5th-round draft pick. Reddy is an undrafted free agent. Bridges is a 7th-round draft pick. Donovan Williams is a 6th-round draft pick. Kyra Elam, who started for us, got picked, drafted, and then got cut in the 1st round. We don't have talent in our secondary and showing, man. You can have a couple of these guys playing, maybe one starting and one getting some time. You can't have a secondary full of try-hard guys. That's why during the trade deadline, I wanted Minka Fitzpatrick back there. You got to get some dudes in there, man. You can't go to the UFL and wait till 2 months later on free agency to pick up guys. You got to see a hole and go fill it with talent, man. We got to adopt a lot of different ways you can acquire talent. The first is the draft. The second is free agency, right? And then you can go UFL and all that other kind of stuff. But we fail to use free agency the proper manner and be serious about it. And so until we get serious about saying, hey, we missed in this category, how are we going to make it up? Not the draft. We're going to go to free agency and find somebody that's proven and bring him over and put him as our safety and put him as our cornerback. Until we start doing that, we're using, it's a whole facet a player acquisition that we're not using that the rest of the league is using, and it's hurting us right now.
I want to take it to back to the game and bring out another layer that I think we all can use for or even our own individual shows. For all of you that watch tape, uh, you'll see something that'll be so obvious, um, and that was how Brian Flores simply outcoached Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He had no answers, and all Flores was doing, and this goes back to our tackles. Um, and B Bird was right when he said, "Well, these guys that I forgot who said, may have been you, Joe, that we handled Philly and then we handled Kansas City."
Mm-hmm.
But Flores did something consistently that I think because of the young eyes of our offensive line, I think it kind of confused them. And that was what all the time he would line up maybe about 6 or 7 guys on the line.
Yeah.
You didn't know who was coming.
Yeah.
You didn't know who was dropping. And Dak did the best that he could. He could see it being a 11-year quarterback or whatever he is. And he was right on some of them, but there was some that obviously there was a free runner that was coming. And that's where he saw that our line couldn't handle that. And he kept using it. He stayed consistent. And that was the real difference of the game. The other reason why I said he was outcoached is because if y'all notice, when Dak drops back, I think I said this on the other show, but why does it always have to be a 5 to 7 step drop? You don't have time.
No.
You don't have time. What happened to the quick hot routes and bubble screens and all that? They're all blitzing inside and coming in. You're open on the outside. Why does everything have to be a long push down the field type throw? You already in shotgun. You just about ready just to go in and just let it go as soon as you get the ball. I mean, they're coming. I don't know why everything has to be a 5-step drop. Your line ain't blocking like that. You're not gonna get it downfield. We didn't incorporate the short passing game into it. He did it a couple of times, and it picked up maybe 5-6 yards, which is good. You want that, but everything ain't gonna be no play action pass, especially when your line can't block. So he got outcoached, man. He got outcoached by Flores, and that I think that's something that we need to kind of look at. And I believe that the next 4 games, even though I'm already saying the season over with, I wouldn't be surprised if they see that again coming up, because of course it's a copycat league, and I believe that's exactly what we're gonna see. Of course, you got to have the personnel to do that, correct. But I believe that scheme confuses our young linemen. They're so young, and when you start talking about backups at the left tackle position, I mean, good Lord, it's gonna be trouble for them. Steele has never been a great pass blocking right tackle. So when he has to line up like that the whole game almost, then it's gonna be to our disadvantage. So I think that's a one thing that we need to kind of like look at for all of you that watch tape that's in the chat. Just to watch us on offense and just see how confusing it is.
Yeah.
To try to figure out who you got to block. Just watch that, see how he operates that thing, and then take it from there.
But I really think that's what you do when you don't have the talent. You gotta do it with scheme. And I think they did a good job of that. But I want to address somebody that's at Leo the Greek. Leo, I see your chats in here, and I can tell that you're anti-Dak. And one of your things says can't shop but Dollar General because you're paying the quarterback $60 million. Jalen Hurts makes $55 million a year. Do you think that our personnel is only $5 million different than the Eagles personnel? No, it's the way the GM actually structures the contract. Another thing, you got a guy that's playing at a Pro Bowl level. You have nobody on defense that's playing the same way. We've lost. We've been scored. Teams have gotten over 35 points against us about 10 times this year. And so I do understand what you're saying. Dak's not perfect, but Dak is not the issue here. I haven't seen you say anything about the defensive anybody on defense yet. Now you're talking about he's getting players hurt. You just hate Dak, dude. That's all it is. You're a Dak hater, and you can't see straight. That's all it is to it. So if you can't, you just can't blame this on one thing. I'm not saying that because Dak to me played one of his worst games yesterday because Brian Flores had pressure on him and it was coming from everywhere. He never got to be comfortable. So it's outstanding. That's why I said it's outstanding by Brian Flores. But again, I think you're picking on. I think that's the low hanging fruit. That's the ESPN type fruit. And we could do a lot worse than Dak. When you're problem solving, you don't go to your one of your best players that's providing that's doing it this year. You go to where it's suffering most, and that's the defense.
I just add to that real quick. I know you're coming, Joe. The only thing about that, Leo, most teams would agree with you. Most owners would agree with you, but you only got one problem. The market demanded that Dak get paid 60. I mean, everybody, whoever is next, and if they're real good, they're going to be right up there too. So whoever is next and they're real good, that's going to change real quickly. So $60 million in about another 3-4 years is going to look like chump change.
And can I say one thing before you go? He got one more comment. He said he keeps getting beat by low budget quarterbacks. So
him on the defense.
Let me tell you, man, I have to agree with you, man, because when he missed that tackle at linebacker, when he went through the wrong hole,
there you go.
When he didn't cover the wide receiver, come on, man, we got to stop that. But anyway, let's go back to our show, man.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Joe.
So let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. So one thing that's a trend, and successful companies, they look at trends, they look at analysis. So you guys, we've talked about Brian Flores since the start of the show. So there's a trend in the NFL. So I had to just look this up right here. The Detroit Lions coordinator is a young brother. His name is Kelvin Shepard. When we played the Lions, he pretty much did the same thing that Brian Flores is doing. Vance Joseph for the Denver Broncos, he's one of those coordinators, very energetic, very innovative. When you play Denver, he got guys coming from everywhere. They're playing physical. Big time, you will appreciate this. What I'm hearing is that University of Michigan got some problems right now, but they, over the last couple of years, have had some real innovative defensive coaches. So the defensive coach for the Chargers, his name is Jesse Minter. He's a Michigan guy. Mm-hmm. They play the same way. When you play the Chargers, now their offense is not as good as ours, but their defense, they're flying around the ball. They hitting you from every area of the field. They got one of the best safeties in the league, and they bring it. He's a young guy. He's innovative. So that's the trend. So my solution, what we're going to be talking about in the next several weeks and months, is for the Cowboys to turn this thing around, they have to do what's trendy in the NFL. Jerry Jones got a front row seat to the way defense is being played in the NFL. Your guy is on the exact opposite end of that. He's a get off my lawn guy. He's not a guy that players want to play for. Players want to play for Vance Joseph and Kelvin Shepard and Jesse Minter. They, just think about when Dan Quinn came in, guys. He came in, the players responded to him. He ran the backwards hat and all this kind of stuff. That's the trend in the NFL that Jerry is missing. I want to call you guys' attention to something last night that I saw, and I'm going to let you guys talk. You know how when the offense has the ball and the quarterback throws a pass and two receivers are in the same area, the commentators will always say, there are two receivers there. That's a busted play. You shouldn't have two receivers in the same spot. So last night, we'll get into some details about Eberflus, about his game plan. So it was a 4th and 3. He rushed 3 guys. He dropped 8. In the zone, we had 2 defenders standing next to each other in the same zone. There was no Viking in the picture. So those 2 guys that were standing in the zone covering nobody, they could have been used to rush. But this is what this guy does. He came from the NFC North. That's the division that he coached in. He's 1-3 against the division that he came from. He played his team Chicago. He threw up his skirt. Really didn't even care. You saw what he did against Green Bay. Gave up 40 points. We got toasted by the Lions, and then last night he turned J.J. McCarthy into Joe Montana. So I was encouraged by some of the comments from Steven and Jerry today. I still think there's a chance they will bring him back, but if we're gonna be taken seriously, Matt Eberflus cannot return as the defensive coordinator.
Mm.
So if Matt Eberflus was defensive coordinating for the Vikings last night, we win that game. So what Brian Flores basically said is that we don't have the horses to necessarily get to you with four guys, but it's necessary that we get to you. And so by any means necessary, we have to bring pressure. And so what that means is that we got to scheme this thing up to where you don't know where it's coming from, so we can make sure we get somebody free. So his whole philosophy of being aggressive and not sitting back waiting is different than Eberflus's. Well, I don't want to blitz because my corners aren't that good, so I'll just try to get there with four. It's going to get you ate up all the time. I just think the whole philosophy of aggressiveness from Flores set the tone of the game, and that was the difference in the game.
Well, I'm going back to what I said before. It's a shame that we have the same outcome, but with different faces. This is the same movie all over again. It's every year, and it's the same story. When it's the moment that the Cowboys should take advantage of a situation, they always let us down. That's the narrative, and that is essentially the truth. And we got people like my man Leo in here who is doing the same narrative. All the finger pointing goes to Dak, which is what people will do, but you ain't watching good football if you want to blame this season on Dak. It's crazy. Like I said, this is the number one offense in the league. If it's not after this week, it'll be still top three offense in the league. Dak is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. To be honest with the leads, just about in every statistical category. It's not on the offense at all. They could have made touchdowns here and there, but it's kind of hard to argue when your offense has been number one all year, the best offense in the league. So we can't go with that. But like I said before, if you're scoring 30 or you're scoring 29, but your defense is giving up 30, how is this? What we doing here? And so I agree with Cowboy Joe. I think enough is enough. We gave the chance. We had to trade. We drunk the Kool-Aid. It was fool's gold. When Quentin Williams came here, along with Logan Wilson, it was fool's gold. Yes, they are great individual players. I'm not saying Quentin can't play. Quentin is incredible. But at the same time, it is what it is. The defense is just not right. The back end is just ridiculous. Can't stop a nosebleed.
Yeah.
This is the area of concern. If we sign Pickens or re-sign Pickens, then it's not. You're safe in saying next year that the offense should be pretty good. I don't know what they're gonna do with Javonte Williams, whose contract ends, because he's earned himself some money, whether it's with the Cowboys or somewhere else. So I hate to start all over again with another running back, but if you're gonna have to pay Javonte because he's earned some money, but if we have that, then what we need to be doing is focusing tremendously on getting some real dogs, getting some real guys in here on defense. There's a mentality that's missing. Sometimes you can't describe it. We call it being a dog, a DAWG. When you get those type of guys in, you start seeing the difference. And we got too many by the book type guys. You know what I'm saying? Technically sound guys. Guys are fundamentally perfect and hand placement is good. And I need a dog, man. Give me some more dogs, and then let's see where we at after that. So just fast forward it, even in the drafting process, and everybody gonna get excited about this and that. My number one requirement is I need to know his temperament. Is he a dog or is he? I mean that's the only way you're gonna get this thing done. You got to get the overshown type guys in, dogs. You know what I'm saying? Williams, dogs. You got to get those type of guys in to get the job done. We just, right now I ain't got time for puppies. I don't have time to develop. Look, the time is running out for development because you put all your eggs. I will agree with Leo on this one. The eggs are in the basket with Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
They went all in for these next 2 to 3 years to try to get the job done. And you're going to have to do whatever it takes to get them there. You ain't got time for development. You know what I'm saying? You got to go after it. And that's what's got to be done. That's just my opinion. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I think you got to start with the defensive coordinator. Here's the thing that the issue I have with him is that all of the players that we have. So I follow Vach Lombardi a lot, and Vach, I'm really give him credit. He's on Cowboys.com. He's at the Star. And Vach has been talking about Eberflus all season. If you just listen to any of the shows, he's saying the exact same thing I'm saying. He said this. He said Connor Riley, Schottenheimer, and Clayton Adams, they're taking average players and making them better. Mm-hmm. What Eberflus is doing, he's taking average players and making them worse. Mm-hmm. So Overshawn is worse. Quentin Williams is worse. Leofau is worse. Just go down the line. And so what you have to do is you have to change the offensive coordinator. You have to get a coach in here that B-Bird, whatever talent he has, you have to put the players in a better position to succeed. And he just doesn't do that. He has a bend but don't break defensive scheme. It's not an attack style defense. So Big Time showed his defensive philosophy is anti-dog.
Yeah.
You could give him the best corner in the league, B-Bird. You can give him the best linebacker. You can give him the best whatever. But his scheme is going to have them on their heels. The best corners in the NFL, if you're playing in this defense, you're 10 yards off the receiver. You got guys playing in zones. They don't even really know who's doing what.
Yeah.
His defensive line, in terms of pressure, he refuses to put pressure on a quarterback with whoever he has. So you could give him Myles Garrett. You can give him Micah. He's just not going to do it. They talked about it today. Brian Browder said there were times during the game when he had 4 guys on the line and he still had guys dropping back off the line. So you got to start with the coordinator. We need better players. But the question I would ask is, are you going to draft a cover corner for him to use? Are you going to draft linebackers for him? I don't know what he does with players that you can't really just look at what you're going to provide him, because he's not a good coordinator. So you're using resources when they're just not going to be used well.
But it's not. But Joe, it's not an either or. It's both, right?
Yeah.
So you need a new coordinator and you need new players.
Absolutely.
So it's not like, we're going to get new players. But I think both. I think he needs to go. But I also think you need to get. Don't let that be. We won't put everything on him and say, okay, he's gone, so the problem's solved. No, he's still working and do troubleshooting and say, do we need new safeties? Can we cover? Yeah. And another thing I wanted to say that somebody brought up, and it's absolutely right, and I've been agreeing with this. Our window is Dak Prescott.
There you go.
When your window is Dak Prescott, who's a 32-year-old, going to be 33 next year. Yeah. Now you can't just rely on the draft. You got to go get players in free agency. And I'm talking about real players, not nobody that's been sitting there for 2 months in free agency and nobody's picked up. And so now you can negotiate a better deal with them. Forget the deal, go get the player, and then you work
Yeah.
out the deal. Identify the Cowboys identify what they want to pay a person, and then go find a person that want to fit into that financial category. Go find a player, and then y'all figure the numbers out and get that player. That's what I think on that, man.
Yeah. So
You
let me
talked about
say,
dogs earlier, big time, and the first time I ever called your show, I gave you the story. I remember this. So if you got a lion in the jungle, the toughest lion that's in the jungle, I mean, but you capture him and you bring him over here and you put him in one of these zoos or whatever, these places that got about an acre, and you got him about three or four lionesses in there. You feed him a goat every, two goats a day or whatever. He got a watering hole. He got everything that you want. And so you keep him in that for 2 years, and then you go and take him out of there and go put him back in the jungle. He ain't gonna be the toughest lion no more. Because why? He been spoiled, man. He been softening up. The culture that made him soft where he was, he can't hunt like he used to hunt no more. Now the ones he used to fight off, they whooping him out there. Why? Because they made him soft, man. And I think what ends up happening, we got dogs like Parsons was coming out. We got dogs that come in, and this culture makes them soft, man. They just adhere to whatever the culture is. This culture is not made to make guys tough and keep guys tough. It's made to soften them up, man. So that's why I think we've had dogs in here before, but they become puppies after a while.
so let me say this real quick, and we could talk about the personnel part. So I agree, B Bird. So the safety room has to totally be redone. Hooker, Donovan
Yeah.
Wilson, Bell, you can't return with them. We gotta. I'm not really sure about Savon Revell. One of the things we got to talk about as part of our culture is they do goofy stuff with their picks. They draft injured players. Not sure they should have picked him. If they did, he got to have a year off. I'm not sure about him about that pick. We got to redo our linebacker room. There's some linebackers in this draft that are great. So to your point, B Bird, yeah, we got to totally revamp the defense and bring in better players, and that's on Jerry Stephen and Will McClay. But when I call it, they play draft, they play with the draft, they play with their food, and so they got to figure out they got to do better with the draft. But we got to redo the safety room, the linebacker room. You need better players. It ain't no question about that.
Yeah.
Only thing I would say is that when we start talking about coordinators, um, we need a coordinator, obviously, that can come in, look at the personnel. Even though that means you got to go back and get old tape. Find out what your guys do best, and then coordinate your scheme around their talent. You can't be stubborn like Eberflus. He is dedicated to rushing 4 and dropping 7, playing the zone.
Mm-hmm.
Your corners are man cover corners. All of them, even the backups. They're not zone guys. I always was taught to put your people in the best position to win. That means you're utilizing their talents, their skill sets, in order to make them to be the best that they can be. Eberflus not doing that, and I don't know why. He did it last night. If y'all saw it, when we first started out, when we got the interception, that was because of a 5-man front.
Yep.
And he did, and it brought pressure, just like it did against Detroit. He did the same thing. Then all of a sudden, he ain't doing no more. He just went back to his rush 4, drop 7, and I don't understand why if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But he wants to fix it by forcing his scheme defense with guys that really don't know how to play zone. It just don't make any sense in that. Leo, let me help you out, brother. Leo, we talking about the defense and you steadily talking about that. You ain't saying nothing about the defense. I just want to know, how are you satisfied with your defense this year? That's all I want to know. Type in and say yes or no. We already got you don't like Dak. I get that. But we're talking defense now, so I'm not telling you to stop talking. I'm just saying, like, I haven't seen one comment about the defense, so it's telling me you really don't have a problem with the defense at all. You correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Tyrone, my brother there, Tyrone says
Yeah.
Matt sabotaged this season,
Yeah.
and I want to say he wasted the season. Yes, he had injuries. Yes, he got sabotaged by Jerry by trading away Michael a week before the season. He had to scramble and all that type of stuff. But by now, you ought to have a better showing. We shouldn't be last
And
in the
he got better.
league in defense.
He got a better defensive line than he had to start the year. So
Yeah.
one thing I was going to say, man, since we brought up Ravel, is it Revel?
Ravel, yeah.
Really, man, just politics, really. And I thought about this. I talked to Sky earlier this year before he was activated. I said, man, really, I think what you do with this kid is just going to redshirt him.
Yeah.
It is too hard to play cornerback as a rookie already. But then trying to come back off this knee injury, man, I think, you got the ability to go and redshirt him, let him go on rehab in the offseason, and then come back next year good. Because what you can do is you can actually mess his confidence up, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so now you have to rebuild that plus the knee. But he shouldn't be out there. And politics has him out there early, man. And that he should not be out there right now. And it's one of those things. I want to speak on this because this is a Diggs issue too. It's just the culture of the NFL. It's not a Cowboy thing. But everybody wants you back. The player wants you back on the field because he wants to earn his contract. The organization wants you back on the field because they want you to earn your money. That's what they paid you for. So everybody wants you back on the field, but sometimes the players come back too soon, and then they don't play up to their standard. But now they getting beat down because they didn't play up to their standard. But it's just the culture of the NFL, man. It's kind of sad because really Diggs kind of came back too soon himself too. So him and Revel probably shouldn't even been playing at the time that they were playing.
And I want to talk about Diggs right quick. So I hear a lot of content creators not happy with what's going on with Diggs, but let's look at this. So back in 2021, you remember we played the Patriots up there, and Diggs had that great game, that interception at the end of the game. So that year, and I think the year after that, he had 8 interceptions. He was all pro. But what people are not really talking about with Diggs is he had an ACL injury. Okay, it takes you 1 year to come back from that, 1 full year. Then he had microfracture surgery. That's another year. So everybody talking about Diggs should be playing. Man, Diggs has had 2 significant knee injuries. What Diggs should be doing, he shouldn't play at all the rest of the year. There's no reason to do it. The defensive coordinator doesn't want you to play. For number one, he don't want you. He don't like your type. So if Diggs is smart, what he'll do is he'll just take another year, let that microfracture graft do its thing. Both his legs are going to be better, and somebody's going to get a very good cornerback with Diggs. Unfortunately, with the Cowboys, he had the injuries. So that's kind of what's happening with that. There's some back and forth on whether he wanted to play, it could play. It's the same thing, B-Berry, with him. It'd just be smarter for him and his team, him and his people. I don't know who his agent is. They should just sit out and then just take a year and regroup. And he's going to be, I think his knees will come around. I had the microfracture surgery. My knee is fine, but it took a year. So that's what he needs to do. That's what I think needs to happen with Diggs.
Let me say this, because y'all skipping over and y'all know what time it is. Y'all just ain't saying it. Y'all being too politically correct. What's up, JD? I see you in the building. What's up? Listen.
Mm-hmm.
Shotty said, if you remember when Sanborn was hurt, Shotty said, hey, he was injured and he has the right to get his job back. And they put Sanborn right back out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shouldn't that apply to Diggs? I mean, Diggs was injured and he said he's ready to go. Everybody say he's ready to go. So why are we having this thing? I personally don't. I told everybody when it went down that the reason why Diggs is not playing is very simple. Jerry holds grudges. It's that simple.
Yeah.
He did it with Amari Cooper. He did it with Michael Parsons. Once he didn't get his way, he shipped him out of here. Mm-hmm. And he's going to do the same thing. For those that know the contract, that if Diggs come out there and gets injured in any type of fashion,
Yeah.
they have to pay him for the rest of this year. This tomorrow, it is tomorrow. The window closes. Stephen Jones said this today. They say the window closes on Diggs if they decide not to activate him. If they don't activate him by tomorrow, he's done for the year.
They won't activate him.
They will not activate him. It's
No.
just that simple.
It makes no financial sense for them.
It makes no sense at all. They don't have to. They don't want to do that. Everybody know he's going to get cut anyway. If he gets injured, why would you? You know, if you're talking about trading him next year, which you probably not going to get too much for him in the first place. But if you trade for him, you know, you might get a 6 or a 7 or something like that. But if you hold on to him and let him play, and he gets injured, you ain't gonna get absolutely nothing for him. Period. He'll be dead money on the cap or whatever the case may be. They're not gonna ruin this. Everybody knows he's out of the door. But the reason why he's out of the door, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, the training, they didn't get to put their hands on him. That's why they fined him, even though it was in the contract or whatever. They hurry up and find him. And then when Michael Parsons, before he left, Trayvon Diggs was at his side, standing in one accord. That was almost like being guilty by association. They didn't like that. They know they were boys like that. And then they didn't like when Michael got traded. Somebody hurried up and put the microphone in Trayvon's face. And it didn't sound like it was, he was upset about it, all that type of stuff. And then, of course, you bring him back, and then they start bad-mouthing about his play, saying he wasn't that. Then, of course, he gets hurt at home. We still don't know the reason why he got hurt at home. They didn't like that. And now he comes back, and then he didn't look like that. They're tired of Diggs. And Diggs will not play another down for the Dallas Cowboys. And that's the reason why, because they ticked off. Shotty cannot tell me that Sanborn gets his job back as soon as he's healthy, and he did. And then tell me as Diggs come back that we got to see how he does in practice, and we got to see how well he does the whole week. Sanborn, you ain't saying about Sanborn. You say when he's ready, go ahead and put him back in. So I'm not falling for the status quo answers coming from everybody. The bottom line is y'all found a way to get rid of Diggs. He probably was ready to go last week. I believe Diggs when he said that, but the Cowboys not gonna let him back on the field. Just
one thing I remember a few years ago when Russell Wilson was playing for Denver, and they benched him because they didn't want him to get hurt because they weren't going to sign him. So I was thinking all along, I said that may be what they're doing to Diggs. They don't go out there and get an injury. Next thing you know, now you're stuck with the contract.
Bingo.
But I want to ask y'all a question, man. And this is the OG podcast, the best place to ask this question. So Parsons, they had some trouble with Parsons. I'm talking about from the Jones perspective. I really think that they caused the whole situation with that. Amari Cooper and Diggs. The 90s culture could handle those guys, and they can get the most out of those guys, even with who they are. But it seemed like they're less tolerant to deal with talented people that give them pushback. And I think that you're not going to have all these guys as in lockstep, right? You'll get those guys in lockstep with everything that you want, but they're not going to be the talented guys. They may never get you over the hump. But don't y'all agree that we used to deal with guys that had personalities bigger than this back in the days? And now it seems like Jerry and the organization don't want to deal with guys like that anymore.
So it is a culture thing, and so Jimmy was able to deal with those guys. Barry was too.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to, it's all coming back to the same thing, big time. So it is a culture issue now. 105.3 The Fan today, they talked about the contract situation with Diggs. There is some discussion that if they brought him back, they still owe him some guaranteed money in some kind of way. If they don't put him back on the field, they can avoid paying him this money. So it's a money situation too. But from the culture thing, and I was chatting with Boss Cowboy Sports today. So people need to understand that Jason Garrett was the coach here for 10 years. We're still under this Jason Garrett culture. So the Jason Garrett culture, B Bird, the type of players you're talking about, they didn't want those kind of players.
Yeah.
They don't want Diggs. That's what kind of came up with Parsons. Guys like that, they just they don't really want those guys here. And you're never gonna win a championship with right kind of guys, acquire boys. I believe this season right here, I'm gonna just keep it real, keep it a buck. This domino effect for this season, the die was cast on this season when Jerry got this thing going with Michael right before the season started. The way he handled that, traded Micah, Diggs was kind of caught up in that. All of the players in the defensive locker room, that had an impact on them. And, you saw what happened there now. And of course, Micah's out for the rest of the year now. But Jerry had his hand in all of this. So this season, the way this season went, it goes right back to the same person we've been dealing with for 30 years. The culture is Jerry and Steven. And until you change that culture, I was telling my son, he's in his mid 30s. At some point, you won't be dealing with Jerry. The culture may change, but at the moment, it is what it is. The way this dig thing was handled, he just didn't. Jerry made it personal big time, just like he did with Micah. Eberflus doesn't like Diggs either.
That's correct.
There you
So
go.
yeah, so that's it. That's the culture, and we can draft great players. We can do all of that until you change the culture. We're just I don't think we're gonna do anything.
He don't like dogs, y'all. He don't like nobody that spotlight is gonna be bigger than his. And I'm talking about Jerry.
Yeah.
That goes from the coaching all the way down to the players. One name that comes to mind that we didn't mention, he did that with Dez Bryant. Same thing. Dez was a bigger star, and when you're a bigger star, that is for years has been a problem. You don't hire coaches that are come in demanding, kind of like what Ben Johnson is doing with the Bears.
Yeah.
Jerry will never turn over the power to give it to one man. He did that with Parcells, and he almost lost his mind when he did that. We see for how long it took for Jimmy Johnson to get into the Ring of Honor because he gave the power to Jimmy, and he didn't like that. He's just not a guy that likes to share a spotlight. He needs a puppet like Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Those type of guys. And Jason Garrett wants a guy just like him.
Right kind of guy.
Right kind of guys, by the book, fundamentally sound, wear a tie to every press conference, that type mess. He wants a Jason Witten type guy. A world class player, or no doubt Hall of Famer. But Jason just didn't give him no type of problem like that. And so the guys that we're talking about that will obviously make a difference, those guys have always been not, in a hurry to get here. They won't go after free agents like that. That's the reason why I laughed at everybody when Deion name first came up. I said, man, ain't nowhere in the world that man bringing Deion Sanders here. As big of a star as Deion is and would take over this whole organization, Jerry would have a conniption dealing with Deion Sanders because Deion will have to come in and he gonna want it done his way. Yeah. And Jerry wouldn't even give up that type of power. So this is part of the issue. Can you win with choir boys? No. Yeah, maybe back in the day. You're not doing it now.
The Cowboys have never won a championship with choir boys. Even in the 70s, they had dogs on their team.
Yeah, Hollywood Henderson, and all those guys.
Yes, all of them guys. I want to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
That fits in what we're talking about. So Al Harris was a coach that had the players' attention, and we talked about Al Harris before. Check this. What we're hearing is the reason that Al Harris was let go they felt like Al Harris was allowing Diggs to get away with things. So when they have a dog mentality coach like Al Harris, as you said, they don't want that. But look at what Chicago did. So Eberflus was the coach in Chicago. He got fired. They hired Ben Johnson. Okay. They hired Al Harris. The Bears are probably going to win that division. They got one of the best secondaries in the NFL. Al Harris is a coach. And check this out. Guess who else Ben Johnson hired? He hired Eric Bieniemy. He's on his staff. Eric Bieniemy is a dog. You can say whatever you want to say about him, his coaching, whatever. He's a dog. So that's what you got to do to win in this league. You got to be able to hire coaches like that. This front office, they just not about that life.
Well, you're right. And one thing I noticed, my son-in-law is a 49ers fan. And so when you watch the 49ers, you can see that that team is almost turned over from when they beat us in the playoffs. The wide receivers are gone. Uh, a lot of the defensive guys the linebackers are gone. Bosa's gone. But you know what? They're still winning games. Why? Because the football culture has been set in place.
Yep.
And so when it's all about football and you come in there, even the backups come in and they're all about football too. So all you do is just pick up the baton and take on where, the person before you left off. Now, if you keep losing players, attrition will come in. But they don't look no different than the 49ers that had all the players. They still out there making plays, winning games the 49er way. And that's what you got to get in Dallas, man, away. And so I think, man, it's a talent to be able to coach a Diggs or a Parson, people with big personalities. And sometimes, man, it's just like if you're a teacher, and I think big time you are. You could talk to certain students some ways, and then you could talk to certain students a different way. You may not be able to do it, but each one of you just can't be one way with all the kids and think that that's going to work, right? And so, with these, it's a craft, it's an art, it's a talent to be able to meld all these different personalities together. So if you got a Diggs, you can say, hey man, look, what does this dude do for me on Sundays? Make plays, lock down dudes. It was a year where that dude locked down Chase, Jefferson, Cup, Scary Terry, all in one year, man. The most impressive thing I've seen about cornerback probably in my life. And so, like you say, okay, but this guy, he kind of says his own thing. He walks with his own tune. So what? We can use him. I mean, I don't need him to go and put the chairs up after we leave. I mean, I need him to go make plays on Sundays, which is what Jimmy was about, man. Like, if you make plays for me on Sundays, he already said it. I'll give you a little bit more leeway. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't make plays on me on Sundays, and you the second string, you can't get away with the same stuff the starters get away with. And he said that I won't treat you evenly, I treat you fairly. So I think you got to have a coach and an organization that kind of can bend a little bit and allow some people with a little bit of flair, a little bit of swag, a little bit of confidence about themselves, some dog in them to survive in your culture.
So that brings me to that question since we're going there, right? And it's simple. I throw this around. Chat, I'll ask you this too. Is Schottenheimer a dog?
I was encouraged last night. So did you see Shotty? So there was a series. Minnesota had the ball near our goal line, and Shotty had to call a timeout. Now Shotty, he walked by Eberflus, and my son was mouth reading, and people talked about it today. He looked at Eberflus and he said, "What the F are you guys doing?" Or "What the F are you doing?" And Eberflus said something back to him. And so that was kind of the exchange there. And he's been dropping little crumbs about Eberflus. So to answer your question, big time, I believe that Shotty can be a Kyle Shanahan. I believe Shotty can be a Sean McVay. The same type of personality, the same type of offense. So if he's that kind of coach, I think he'll be okay, and I think he is. But what Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan have, they have the front office doing the right thing, B-Bird. They also have good defensive coordinators. The Rams have a good young, trendy defensive coordinator. And then Robert Saleh was here. Jerry should have never let Robert Saleh out of the building. He should have made him the highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL. So he would be here instead of San Francisco. So it's all about money too. But answering your question, I think Shady can be a Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan in the long run, but he just has to have, better players in the front office doing the right thing.
D-Bird, what you think? He a dog?
No, he's not a dog, and I'm gonna tell you why. So, name me as this everything that with the front office and the coaching position and the culture of the Cowboys to take this job as it is. You're not a dog because you understand that you're not going to have.
Maybe he was desperate.
Yeah. So the thing about this, name a time that we didn't hire a desperate. When you are desperate in anything, buying a car or whatever, you're gonna get the bad end of the deal because you can't negotiate out of desperation.
Yeah.
Because what you need is other people to want you. Now you can leverage that against the team that's going to get you to get more things out of maybe more power, maybe more money or whatever. But we have not had a coach. Think about this. The only coach that we've ever had that wasn't coming in hand in hand begging for the job since Jimmy Johnson was Bill Parcells. Think about every other one. They're just happy to have the job, man. Wade Phillips, happy to have the job. McCarthy, happy to have the job. Jason, happy to have the job. All these guys, man, just happy to have the job. You need a guy that other people wanted. Let me just give you an example. Ben Johnson. Everybody wanted Ben Johnson. Cowboys didn't even approach him. Why? One thing, we don't pay him that much money. Other thing, we don't want to give up no power.
He don't fit our
that
culture.
Guy got leverage. We got to give up some power to get this guy. We got to give up some things like, hey, man, come over here. We're not going to mess with this. You're going to have control over this. So to take the job as the job stands, you can't be a dog and take this job. Name me one coach that y'all think is a dog. And no Harbaugh would take this position. They real football guys, man. No Shanahan would take this position. They are real football guys. They're not taking this position. Bill Parcells, not Bill Parcells, but Bill Belichick is not taking this job as is because Jones is going to say, we're going to be meddling in your business. And if guys got other places to go, they saying, man, I'll go to Carolina. I want to run this thing the way I want to run it, not with y'all hands all of everything.
I'm going to say that he is a dog. And the only reason why I'm saying is because of his track record, where he come from, and you can't be around dogs and you're a part of it. I'll just stick with, of course, his father, of course, was a dog. He didn't win anything, but he was a dog. Coach Marty Schottenheimer was a dog. And, of course, most coaches from that era, all of them were pretty rough. So that's no surprise there. But when you start even talking about him and Rex Ryan, and where Schottenheimer was the offensive coordinator for those Jets teams that went to AFC Championship games, Rex Ryan's aura, Rex Ryan, I don't care what nobody say about him, he was a dog. Ain't no doubt about that. Aggressive defensive coordinator who emphasized running the ball. And Schottenheimer obeyed their tough running game, that type of thing. Then he went to Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is a dog, no doubt about that. Pete Carroll is a bona fide dog whose defenses were sickening. And Schottenheimer, of course, was the offensive coordinator for Seattle those years, all those great Seattle teams. And so he comes from a line of that. The problem, I will agree with B-Bird, was that Jerry, as always, wants to set things up for him. Mm-hmm. I'm going ahead and tell you this, and I've seen enough. I believe that if he had another decent quarter, what we said at the beginning, that the defense does not have to be a top 10 defense. We all figured to say this offense was going to be electric this season. Everybody said that. And sure enough, the offense has been the best offense in the league. What did we all say? The Cowboys defense don't have to be but in the middle of the pack. And we're going to win a whole lot of football games. If they had a coordinator that was pretty decent, I believe we'll have a whole different conversation right now. Then when I look at Schottenheimer, who he hired, not because Eberflus is Jerry's guy. Jerry, he didn't. Schottenheimer didn't pick Eberflus. Jerry did. But when you look at Clayton Adams, when you look at Sorston, we talking two doggish type coaches who got dog in them. And that's why you're saying what you're saying now. Of course, we can question the special teams, but if you know about Sorston was the defensive coordinator just a couple years ago for the 49ers. When have you ever known the 49ers to have a bad defense? Sorston was the defensive coordinator before Saleh came back. Come on now. So we know the 49ers defense has always been good.
Yeah.
So when you let Shotty do what he need to do, you're going to surround yourself with some pretty good, coaches. I believe if Shotty would have had the opportunity to hire his own, suggest his own coordinator, defensive coordinator, we don't know who that might be, but I guarantee you it would have been Matt Eberflus. I guarantee that. Because see, to run the offense that Shotty want to run, he wants to get after the quarterback. Not lay back and play bend but don't break. Because this is what all he's saying. Seattle, the Jets. He saw guys come after the quarterback. This is what he knows. He saw his father's defenses come after the quarterback. This is all he knows. This is where he learned from. So I'm saying he got dog in him, and hopefully Jerry will get, and I think he's almost somewhat kind of earned it. I may be way off, but I believe Jerry's going to let him pick his his defensive coordinator next year, and then we'll just see what's going on with that. He really already has one, y'all. I'm just trying to tell you. They might want to do White Cotton. Coach White Cotton, I think he would be good. But Sorensen, look, I saw what the 49ers defense was with Bosa and Warren and Greenlaw and when Chase Young was there on the other side, and then the cornerbacks. Now, I saw what Sorensen did with these defenses. So I ain't got to question that. And I know he was aggressive. All we got to do is just pull the tape and look. They got an answer already on staff, to be honest with you. So that's just my thing. I think he's a dog. So I think Coach Chase, when you let him do his thing. Go ahead.
Let me say this about Shotty, and I'm looking at it from a different perspective. So I'm saying that he can be Kyle Shanahan, who had Deebo Samuels, who was a dog. He can be Sean McVay, and Sean McVay had dogs. I believe that guys, if Brian Schottenheimer had Dez Bryant, Schottenheimer will let Dez be Dez. And I think Schottenheimer is going to allow Pickens to be Pickens if he hasn't. So the question for me is, can he coach? Can he work with dogs? I believe he can. Yeah. The front office, however, is the fly in the ointment. That's the problem. And that's kind of what the catch is. And by the way, just talking about our culture, B Bird, they hired Eberflus before they hired Schottenheimer. 31 other teams don't make that move. So for me, the question is, can Shotty work with and coach dogs? I believe he can, but the Joneses, especially when it comes to contract, they're going to neuter their dogs whenever they can.
Get that right.
So one thing real quick, and this is part of it, I definitely think that if he was in a different organization, he can be.
Yeah.
But just as players, they don't want coaches to be that guy, that person in the front. Because at the end of the day, the Joneses still want to get the credit for winning. They don't want anybody like a Belichick to come in here and win or anybody like that. They want somebody that's kind of a no-name guy that they brought through to come in and win. But as far as the dogs are concerned, first of all, you got to – okay, back to the Diggs thing. That's what I was going to say. I really think the Diggs thing is a Jones's own down philosophy about keeping him off the field, and that tells you right there that Shotty's not making that call. He's not making a call to keep Diggs off the field. That's a Jerry thing. It just so happened to coincide with what Jerry wants and what Eberflus wants too, because Eberflus when they asked Diggs about the defense early on, and he said that he said, man, when I get a good fast pass rush, it's like instant grits. Well, then Eberflus come back and say, oh, I don't like grits.
Bingo.
That don't even have anything to do with the guy was just saying like when they get pressure, man, that's like eating early, and now they got to throw the ball. That's the guy was saying something positive. He come back saying, I don't really like grits.
Yeah.
For one thing, you listening too hard to a player. The second thing is that you comment in a negative manner when he wasn't even said in a negative manner. So, but I'm saying that Diggs
Get
is
off
not
my
on
lawn.
the field, and it doesn't have a lot to do with Shotty. It has a lot to do with the front office, and tells me that you ain't really running the team like a regular coach should run.
Well, what guy has done it since Jimmy Johnson? To be honest
No,
with
they
you.
haven't. That's
Well, I'm sorry, since Parcells,
yeah.
because Parcells was the only one that wasn't going.
It's a type that
Like
they
that.
hire, right? It's a type that they don't want that flamboyant guy. I mean,
No,
remember, Shotty had already resigned to the fact that the ship had sailed on him being a head coach.
yeah,
So he's already like, I've been in the league for this long. I hadn't been a head coach, and I'm not going to be one. And the Joneses kind of pulled him out the hat, right? They threw him a life, but when you throw him that, now hey, I am beholden to y'all. Hey, what y'all want? What you got to do? I think what happens is Cowboy coaches come here thinking, well, I can come in and manipulate the system, and you get in here, you figure, oh damn, it's like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't really do a whole bunch here.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep on getting these paychecks.
So
yeah,
McCarthy, when you look back on it, McCarthy, he did sort of push back on them at different times. He was able to go 12-5 3 straight years. McCarthy brought in a lot of his guys. He eventually got Kellen out of there. So I think what Shotty's going to have to do is probably be more in line with what McCarthy did. Kind of at different times. Call some shots, get the coaches in that he wants in there on the defensive side of the ball. So at the end of the day, that's what we're working with. You got to deal with the Joneses. So you just got to see, do you have a head coach that can make some smart hires? And I think at the end of the day, it's the culture is the culture. And these guys in the front office, they got 30 years of doing this. I guess we're going on year 31 now. And, they should really, I was telling somebody today, they're very lucky that they're not in the Philadelphia media market or the New
Wow.
York market. It
They
would
eat
be
'em up.
it'd be a totally different story.
Yeah.
And the thing that kind of threw me off today. So did you guys hear Brian Schottenheimer's press conference?
No.
most of it. I didn't hear all of it.
The thing that was really crazy was they asked him about 20 questions about the offense, and they asked him about 2 questions about the defense. And that's part of
Yeah.
your problem right there. It's this the media is part of the culture too, B Bird.
Absolutely.
The Dallas
Well,
media, I should say.
well, that was a question. Going back to the game, at least there was some questionable stuff on offense. The fourth downs and
Yeah.
why did we kick so many field goals? Why you couldn't score in the red zone? All that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But that I didn't. I'm messed up because this defense is just horrendous, and
Yeah.
it's obvious where the change needs to happen. It's just obvious, and,
That
and we
that
won't know until it's all over, until the season over, because they're not gonna let Eberflus go. He'll finish out the year, they'll let him go, and then then the dominoes will fall right after that.
and despite all of the issues we had with the pressure from Flores, Dak played good enough to win the game. He could have
Yes.
won the game. All you needed to
Yes.
do is just give him some more possessions. He
Yeah, make
wins.
him
We
stop.
win the game. Yeah.
Just make it stop. It's
Yeah.
just that simple. Just
Hey,
make it stop.
did y'all hear that question they asked Stephen on 105.3 the fan today?
I didn't.
I heard Steven, which one?
It was one about say people don't think that y'all are accountable. Y'all not account. Y'all don't have any consequences. That's what it was.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
And his answer was, he kind of filibustered that answer. I don't know if you did you remember it big time?
Yeah, he said the bottom, the main thing to take out of what he said, well, it's different dynamics here because we own the team. So it ain't gonna be too many consequences because how you gonna punish? You said we can't fire us. He didn't say that. That's essentially that's what he was saying. Like,
Yeah.
well, Jerry ain't gonna fire himself, and I'm not gonna fire myself. It's a difference when you hold a team. But if it had been anybody else, they would have been fired a long time ago. I mean, just that everybody know that. They know that. It's just that they're the owner of the team and they refuse to bring. And then, like I said before, the problem with the Cowboys is this: they won. Jerry got 3 rings on his finger, and he got a gold jacket.
Yeah.
And you can't tell him that his system does not work. You can't tell him that because he got evidence. I'm in the Hall of Fame, and I got 3 rings. But that was yesterday's time. Now you ain't roll with the punches. The problem is that again, you own the team, and you can't fire yourself, and you're not gonna let anybody in to get in on the quote unquote family business. And I think that's big what I just said right there. Because if you bring in another general manager, you're putting them in a slot that is reserved for family. The next general manager of this team is going to be Stephen Jones if he done died before his daddy do.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
He might be worse.
Yeah, he might be. But that spot is already it's Stephen Jones. Now Stephen Jones, the only thing that might happen, let's have a little hope here. Stephen Jones may say, well, I need to bring in a football guy. Now we don't know that. We won't know it until we see it. But as for right now, that spot Jerry Jones' spot belongs to one man and one man only, Stephen Jones. And that could very well be a problem right there.
One of the things with this family-owned business and what we're going to run into is that I think Philadelphia did it. I know Seattle did it too. Well, I don't know if you saw that, but they sold off 10% of their team to investment firms.
The Giants did it.
Yeah, the Giants did it too. Yeah. So what they did is they sold off 10%. And the investment firm would never get total control. That's the only thing they can buy is 10%, and it's of the value of your team. Say your team is worth $10 billion, then whatever 10% of that $1 billion, that's how much they can invest. Well, what that does is it allows for teams to have liquid funds to pay bonuses out up front. Mm-hmm. So, but the thing is, that's an advantage to whoever's going to take advantage of it, right? So like Philadelphia, they get money from this equity firm or whatever, and they're paying these guys not even out their own money. They're paying it out with the cash that they got. They still got 90% of the team.
Yep.
I never see the Joneses doing that. So actually, you kind of fall behind a little bit farther with the advent of this 10% thing with these investment firms. So we kind of falling even farther behind the 8 ball. Now everybody's not doing it, but I can see other teams starting to get into that too. And the Cowboys would get more liquid funds if they did it because they actually work more than the other teams.
And that's what they should have did when Micah and Dak's contract came up. And I want to say this real quick. So for a couple of years, I thought Jerry was really motivated to win another Super Bowl. I thought he was just hell bent on winning one. I really felt like it bothered him that he hadn't won one. The way he handled his Micah thing, I told my son, I think Jerry right now, winning another one is not really important to him big time. I think he's just kind of satisfied with the way things are. He's got his gold jacket. He's got the most valuable franchise in sports. So I think that's where he is right now. I don't think winning another one is a priority for him. I just don't think it is. I don't know about Steven and the folks at the Star, but I just think Jerry is content. And the Micah situation, that showed me that he's not really trying to take this thing over the top.
I got a little pushback on that one. I think he want to win. I think he just want to do it his way, and that ain't gonna get it done. My only pushback to you on saying that is he let Micah go, but he brought Quentin in, brought in Quentin Williams, and did what he usually don't do. He traded away draft picks. You know how much they love draft picks. He did that. Really, I believe he tried to put all his eggs in this one basket for this year. I really believe he was trying just to get in the tournament, no matter if it was the last seed or whatever. I figured he thought he had the type of offense that if you can get into the tournament, we'll be fine. We can beat anybody. It's just that what he didn't understand was that, you still want to hold on to that developmental type mess. When Diggs went down and Bland was hurt, you put trash. I'm gonna call these guys trash. Let me stop. You put backups and practice squad guys out there. You thought Elam, who's gone now, was the guy. You tried to make $1 out of 15 cents with Mozzie Smith. You kept trying to get it, just try to prove people right instead of going to get it. That's why you change everything. You go get a Kenny Clark. You go get a Quentin Williams. You find a way to get all this stuff done. You go get a Logan Wilson. I just thought that he was just trying his best to push to get in the playoffs, and then let's just go ahead and take a chance after that. I think that's why you make the move for Quentin Williams. I think that's why you get a Logan Wilson. I think that's why Overshown is back. That's what they were counting on to make a difference, which goes all the way back to our original conversation about Eberflus. You can have all Pro Bowlers, but if you got the wrong scheme and you not putting the players in the right position, this is what you're seeing right now. You got the worst defense in the league when you had the wrong scheme. There's no way in the world you can tell me the data array of talent that's on this defense right now, even after the trade, and we got about 4 or 5 weeks since the Quentin Williams trade, whatever it is. By now, I thought the Cowboys would at least move up to at least 22, 23. I thought that. They did improve in the run. They only gave up 77 yards yesterday. So the run is being taken care of. But I thought that when you had this, I thought that they would move up to at least 22, 23, and probably that's where we will end the year. No, we still dead last. Yeah. And that's because of the secondary. You didn't touch it. You didn't touch it. The safeties are horrible. The cornerbacks are horrible. It's been that way the whole year. Yeah. You didn't address it. You could have. You had Asante Samuel Jr. just sitting at the house. You had Gilmore. I don't care how old he is. You had Gilmore just sitting at the house. You had Justin Simmons, who was just sitting at the house. I mean, young guy. You had guys, man, but you're so dedicated and loyal to these contracts. We paid Donovan Wilson. We paid Malik Hooker. We got to make sure we get all we can get out of them. And all you're getting is trash. Bad play on the field. I don't even know who some of these cornerbacks are. I mean, you traded for Reddish Stewart, and you traded. I mean, what is that?
Kenneth Murray.
You know what I'm saying? Kenneth Murray, it's obvious he hadn't done anything. That's why you go and get a Logan Wilson. But then let's go to show you, you go get a Logan Wilson, but you're keeping Kenneth Murray on the field. What kind of sense does that make?
They're keeping Murray on the field because they paid him $7 million.
See what I'm saying? So you're loyal to the contract. You're not loyal to the player, not putting the best player on the field. It's where the politics word come into play. And that's the kind of stuff that we got to get. That's the culture again, Joe. Yeah. You're absolutely right. That is the culture. And until that changes, give me my best 11, man. Yeah. I ain't got time to be worried. If I got a guy that's playing better, matter of fact, right now, forget Logan Wilson, man, put Shamar James back in the game. He'll do better than Murray is right now. Seriously. I mean, Murray's just out there. He works at Sanborn. Y'all look like Sanborn out there. At least Sanborn, he just didn't have the athleticism. But Sanborn knew where to be. He just didn't have the athleticism to get there. Murray has the athleticism, but he don't know where to be.
Eberflus has something against Leo Fowl. He hasn't played him. That's it's politics.
It's politics, and until that changes, we possibly talk about this same thing next year. Yeah. It's the thing that's been going on for years and years and years. Where's the penalty if we're talking about that? I just throw one out. Where's the penalty for Jake Ferguson fumbling all the time?
Got to be something.
Brevin span forward. Every time I look at him, it's beautiful. Every time he on the field. I mean, not letting he get the ball thrown to him, but his blocking is incredible. Come on now. I just don't understand this. So these are some of the issues that I'm quite sure all of us will be talking about over the next few months until the preseason start up again next year. But these are some of the things that we'll be hitting on everybody, and we just getting a preview of what you'll be hearing from us for this off season. This is what we're gonna be talking about.
Hey, so big time. Joe posed a question, and I'm gonna go back to it. He says, "Does Jerry want to win?" I think it is a mixture between what y'all both said. Jerry does want to win, but he wants to win his way,
His
but
way.
he doesn't know how to win.
Yeah.
So I don't think he knows how to win. But
Not
also,
in today's game.
I'm
Not in
sorry,
today's game.
no, not in today's game.
Not in today's game.
Yeah,
No.
he really know how to win in old in '90s because Jimmy did that. But the
Well,
thing is,
also because the '90s team didn't have a salary cap,
absolutely,
and it was incredibly attractive to come to Dallas. You're on TV every week. There's stars everywhere. You want to win a world championship or get close to it, you come to Dallas. There was no salary cap.
Yeah.
The salary cap era and this just the cheapness of Stephen Jones has crippled this team.
Absolutely,
the mentality that is.
Yeah. So he does want to win, but he'll go to his grave satisfied. He wouldn't go to his grave if somebody else came in, another GM, changed up the culture, changed up the players, and all in one. He would not like that because that would have proven the NFL right that he didn't know what he was doing. Because they would say that you've had this team for 30 years up under your control and you've done nothing. And you brought in a GM, and in 3 years, he got these guys in the Super Bowl. So that even proves even more so that you wasn't the guy, that you was the guy we thought you was, and you're not a football guy. So yeah, I think that he wants to win his way. It's just that ego, man, the narcissism is all in his way. And that's just what it is.
And then one final thing, guys. So this the legacy of this franchise. So in the 70s, Gil Brandt was ahead of the curve. They drafted really well when they won all those games in the 70s. They were better drafting, a better drafting team. Then the league caught up with them, kind of changed some things. In the 90s, they were the best drafting team in the 90s. This version of the Cowboys, they have a reputation of being a good drafting team. They're not. They're average to below average. So when you throw the bad drafting in with the culture, B-Bird, it's a toxic mix. And that's what we're dealing with.
Well, you throw the bad drafting in with the no free agency, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Now you got bad drafting. Now we do well on first round linemen, but when you don't go in and say, because what they're trying to do is they're putting their thumb on the scale to players like Amazi, trying to make them right, and they're not. And at some point in time, you got to look up and say, hey, man, we just blew this pick. Yeah. So what are we going to do? We got to go find a safety. Why? Why? Because we blew this pick. Let's go find a safety. Hey, man, Philadelphia Eagles have given up on guys fast. And they've given up on guys they signed to contracts for money, and they don't play them. Why? Because we got better guys playing behind them. We're going to play the best person. And what they're saying is, yeah, we made a mistake in this, but we're going to go out and fix it, getting somebody else or whatever. We made a mistake in the draft. This guy, we thought he was going to be our cornerback or our linebacker, but we got somebody else. So they don't sit on a GM doesn't have time to wait out a player for 5 years because he can lose his job over that player, waiting on him. So but the Joneses have time, man. They got time on their hands. So that's what, and we suffer from that.
Yeah, and just what he said about Parsons is true because he said this for the last few years. Why would Jerry's come out of his mouth? Why would I pay one man this amount of money when I can go get 3 or 4 guys for the same amount? In other words, bottom of the barrel, mid-level type guys, and you get 4 or 5 of them in comparison to paying for one. That's what he said about Michael Parsons when he left. So as long as that mentality is around, that's why we were so shocked to hear us talking about getting a Quentin Williams this year or going and get a name, because that's just not what we do. And of course, the offseason, we're going to have a lot of decisions that have to be made. When we start talking about guys who are on this team, of course, Pickens is number one. You got to make a big decision about Javonte Williams. You got to make a decision about Diggs. Of course, I think we all know that what's going to happen there.
Already made.
Yeah, that's been made. We start talking about the safeties again. Joe said we need to get rid of the safeties. I agree. And I think you can get out of that. I think you can get out of Donovan Wilson. I believe you can. It's either one of the two. It's either Hooker or I got to go back and check that out. But you can get out of that. So we got some financial decisions. I think with $33 million over the cap, we got to restructure Dak's contract. We got to restructure CD's contract as well. That's gonna free up a lot of money. You got to sign Aubrey, who's gonna set the bar for the kicker. Ain't no telling how much the kicker gonna get paid. I know they weren't counting on that. Then you got to make that decision on Pickens, whether you want to pay him long term or you gonna take a chance and put the franchise tag on him, and then see how he responds to being paid on the franchise tag. That's another whole story about you for another day. So we got a lot of stuff that we got to deal with, but we're gonna be. Pickens will be with us. It's just how would he be with us? That's my.
I got a question for you because I honestly thought, man, I don't want to. Okay, let me go ask the question. I felt like in Amari's last year, I felt like they under targeted him on purpose, right? I felt like I felt like they wanted to go a different direction. They wasn't going to resign him, but I don't think it's harder for an Amari that has 111 catches for 1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns for them to trade. It's not going to be the Cowboys fans not going to digest that well. So I felt like they started kind of going away from him to keep his numbers lower so they can justify trading him for the amount of money they paid him. Now, I could be wrong on that, but that is something the front office will do. I mean, they're petty like that. And they also have the political positioning mindset. Do you think that they're going away from Pickens?
No.
Because he's on fire the first couple of games. I mean, the last two games, man, they've been not targeted.
I can kill that real quick. They're not. It's just teams now have got smart and they made the decision to double him, and that's exactly what's going on. If you watched all 22 and just watch the attention that Pickens is getting, whether it's a safety over top or they bracketing him. See, that's why you didn't see the slants, y'all. Just in case y'all want to know why Flores is so smart. He was willing to sacrifice that wheel linebacker, wherever Pickens lined up, whether it was the Sam linebacker or the wheel. He would purposely let the linebacker. So in other words, say if you got three linebackers here, whoever was on Pickens' side would go to that spot to cover the slant along with the cornerback.
Yeah.
So that's why you didn't see the slants there. Yeah. If you're talking about going deep, that was always a safety over the top. Yeah. And Flores would not let Pickens get in no type of rhythm, at least for that game. Now the other game, B-Bird, they weren't doing that. That's why the slants were so available. But they figured out a way to get it done. So they made a decision to let Lamb be the man. And that's why Lamb is cooking right now. That's why he over 1,000 yards again and missed 5 games. Because Pickens have taken the load. So part of that is scheme. But I understand what you're saying because it's being petty. Being petty is the reason why Diggs is on the sideline.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So it's not above. You're not wrong in what you're saying. But I will say some of that is scheme.
I appreciate you clarifying that.
Some of that is scheme. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
No, and I wouldn't put it past them, B-Bird, for sure. But I just think it goes back to what we started out. We'll be talking about. We played Detroit. They just had a good defensive coach in the scheme. Yeah. These guys, when you go into a game and you know Pickens is hot, and of course Kansas City and Philly, they wanted to stop Pickens too. But what it just comes down to is possessions. I just think the more possessions you have, you're going to see Pickens do his thing. You're going to see CD do his thing. Last night, bottom line is, we didn't have the ball enough. So you're stopping. Your defense is stopping Pickens. When I say your defense, Eberflus is shutting Pickens down. That's what's happening in these games. And the more possessions you get, people in this chat, all on Dak, I have no doubt in my mind, last night, you give Dak a few more possessions, we will win this game. B-Bird, the Carolina game, just give Dak a couple of more positions, you win that game.
Or even just stop and make the punter punt one time. Good God.
That's really what it is. Our offense is our best defense, and our defense is killing us. Dak, I just won't forget the image last night. Dak standing on the sideline with his helmet on, just standing on the sideline saying, let's just give me the ball," and he didn't get the ball back. So that's what's slowing Pickens down, I believe.
Wow.
Hey, so I want to give a shout out to at Leo the Greek because we've been here for an hour and 40 minutes,
Yeah,
and your consistency of Dak
Man.
Prescott is impressive.
Oh,
I
we
mean, you
still
are
talking about that.
dogmatic after that one thing, and your car got on flat because of Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah.
You pretty doggone good, man. You are one of the most consistent dudes I've seen on here. So shout
Did
out to you, at Leo.
Dak didn't have a pick last night, did he?
Nah,
No.
Yeah, so
But he
Dak
didn't have a touchdown either. But
yeah, so Dak
but
wasn't the
but
problem.
but they they were at the 1 yard line running in.
Yeah,
Leo, you're wrong that your owner bought into him. Aaron,
man.
you're not there's as many of Dak haters there around. There are equal amount of Dak lovers as well. So keep that in mind. Dak Prescott has always been a lightning rod
Yeah.
to this organization as far as support goes. Ever since he took the job, there have been people that hate him, and he's done nothing but progress
yeah,
year
Just
by
like that to
year.
Romo too. You know.
Yeah, and then when you look at his stats, Leo, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with, kind of hard to argue that he's not having a
yeah.
great season.
And we moved the
Having a
ball.
great
We
season.
moved the ball last night.
Oh, we moved the ball well. We just didn't score in his zone. Well,
Yeah,
where we did, we scored 2 touchdowns, but we
yeah,
ran it in. It's to the point now. Dak don't throw for 4 touchdowns in a game. Leo is the type I already know. Leo is the type that when Dak have a big game, he get quiet.
Boy, you ain't gonna
yeah.
hear from him.
You ain't gonna hear from him. But if soon we lose, he got plenty to say. And
And
he
like,
kind of remind me of Kid Cowboy. That's what he remind me
or East Side Harold.
of. Yeah.
Man, have we got in touch with Eastside Harold yet,
We
man?
did
I,
Because
not know.
I haven't found him, man. I don't know
We
where
did
he
not.
at.
I'm at to
hey,
check
But
on
so
my
another thing
family in Houston on the
I want to
case.
tell y'all. Did y'all see the difference between Williams running the ball and everybody else running the ball for us last night?
Yeah, that's why I say they're gonna have to make a decision.
Man, it was
Uh,
just a stark difference, man. I was like, wow.
he's ran himself to some money. He's gonna be a Pro Bowler this year.
Yeah,
He's gonna get it done. I mean, obviously. So
Yeah,
the Cowboys gotta make a decision, and that's one thing that the mentality is in this organization is we don't like paying running backs. So it's gonna be interesting to see how much Williams gonna ask for. And then let's see what he gonna roll with. He ain't gonna ask for no $8-9 million, but he probably gonna ask for 4 or 5. I guarantee that. And then we'll see what he does with that.
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we good. Everybody, we good. Or we got some
yep,
more. We got.
We
yep.
we
I'll be
good.
good, bro.
Hey, let's do this big time. So let's do this, and we need to do this more often on this show right here. So B Bird and our channel, we're trying to get more subscribers. So we want
Go
to make
ahead.
sure that everybody that's listening to your show, they
Mm-hmm.
go to our channels and subscribe. And so
Okay.
my channel is Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk. I was telling
Mm-hmm.
my son to put the link in the chat. I can't figure all that out still myself. And I'm kind of like dealing with something else right now. But so we're Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk. So go subscribe to our show. And we're trying to get our subscribers up. And then B Bird, we're trying to do the same with you. Tell them about your show.
Yeah, so I'm B Bird Cowboy. Y'all can catch me on Twitter, also on YouTube under B Bird Cowboy. And Leo the Greek, you better join mine. So I've been on you, man. You've been communicating so much. You better go over there and join my dog on YouTube and subscribe, man, and put all the stuff in. But yeah, B Bird Cowboys. We're gonna be doing a lot off season. I'm actually gonna be doing a show, man. My son's down. I'm gonna do a show with him at some
Oh,
point in
okay.
time while he's down for Christmas.
All right.
Just kind of introduce him to y'all because my son, loves the Cowboys. He got a different perspective on it. He's 21 years old, so
Uh
All
oh.
he has a
right.
whole different outlook than I have on it. So y'all be looking forward to that. And continue. I'm still active on Twitter. And Cowboy Joe, you've been real active on Twitter lately. I've been seeing you on there, man.
So I'm on Twitter at Cowboy Joe 64. So yeah, I've been active on there. I kind of chilled out after the kneeling thing, but now I'm back live and kicking now. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then of course I'm big time. The simple Big Time Show, the Big Time Show. If you're on YouTube, for those that do not know me, you can subscribe to that channel. I'm on Twitter as well. The Big Time Show, Facebook, the Big Time Show. Just type it in, see this great bearded dude here, and you know you're on the right channel. For everybody though, on all channels, let's make sure that we hit those like and subscribe, and also turn on those notifications so that as soon as they go live, or any of us go live, it probably will, go straight to your phone, and that way you can join in live with us. That way you ain't never gotta wonder what day we're coming on or whatever. It just hit your notification on your phone, and you know we live at that particular moment. This is what we do, y'all. We come at least once a week. We usually come on Friday nights, but we all couldn't get together on that night, so we decided to come now. I'm glad that we came now after the beat down from yesterday, in which Joe Montana came out of retirement. There go B-Bird. B-Bird, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat, if you want to subscribe to B-Bird's channel, he just put it in. There he is, his channel right there. Just click on that, hit that subscribe button.
That's you, Leo.
We'll make sure that we do Cowboy Joe, same thing, his link. We'll put it in on the show. Make sure that you guys can do it. But as for now, I believe that's it, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Sure? We good?
We're good.
All right, man. Listen, Cowboys OG Podcast did it again. We will see you. We'll shoot for Friday again. This coming up Friday. That's usually our day. We'll try our best to come together Friday. And if we don't, it's probably gonna be on me, y'all, because I got so much stuff going on. But we always gonna shoot for Friday, and we'll come with y'all again, and we'll talk about, of course, the Chargers coming to town, and here we go again. Let's see what we're gonna do then against the Chargers. Another tough game coming up. Guarantee you. Look, I just leave you with this tease.
Hey,
go ahead.
I got a quick question, man, and I don't want to get into this. Real quick answer, because I had this question. Do you think we start playing backups to see what the younger players to see what they do, or what do y'all think? Just real quick. I don't want to prolong.
No, not yet. Okay. Not until we mathematically eliminate. If Philly win one game, they win the division. It's over with. We too far behind for wild cards. So if Philly win, you might get that probably next time. Okay. That's what I think. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I agree. I think you got to start looking at some of these guys and then just protect them so we don't have one of those injuries that can affect the next year. So that's kind of what you're talking about there. But we'll just kind of see how it plays out.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. I ain't want to make it too long.
Yeah. All right, so we'll do it again, y'all. Be prepared, hit those live notifications, and we'll come back with y'all. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, chat, for your comments. This has been the Cowboys OG Podcast.
All right.
Take it.